Why settle for a decent car when you could have a legend? Oh, wait, which one is that again? Corvette or Camaro? It's like choosing between I'm a legend and I'm on my way. All right, gearheads, it's time for the ultimate showdown, Corvette versus Camaro. But please don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss the next epic car debate. Does spending more money actually mean getting a car with less specs? Yeah, that sounds backwards, right? Just like paying extra for a smaller pizza. Well, keep that thought in your head, because by the end of this video, it's all gonna make some sense for sure. But first, let's meet our two stars, the C7 Corvette Grand Sport and the 6th generation Camaro 2SS 1LE. Both cars have Chevy's monster 6.2-liter LT1 V8 engine. The Corvette flexes with 460 horses, while the Camaro follows super close with 455. Now, here's something that'll blow your mind completely. At the drag strip, these cars are practically twins. The Corvette runs a quarter mile in 12.2 seconds. What about the Camaro? Just a tiny bit behind the other at 12.3 seconds. That's like finishing a 100-meter sprint in just a blink apart. But this is just the start of our story. Now, let's talk about money, because this is where things get interesting. Now, you're at the dealership looking at a 2018 Corvette Grand Sport. It's got 52,000 miles on it. That's literally like 2 trips around the earth, and they're asking $50,000. Next to it sits a 2023 Camaro 2SS 1LE, practically a new piece from the factory with just 8,000 miles, and its price tag $48,500. Yep, you heard that right. The older car with 6 times more miles costs more. Remember that question about paying more for less? We're starting to see the first piece of this puzzle. Step inside these machines, and it's like traveling through time, but not really in a way you would expect. The Camaro feels like it was built for Gen Z world. It's got all the cool tech stuff we love, like the wireless Apple CarPlay, blind spot warnings that work, which is super helpful since sports cars aren't exactly known for great visibility, and a backup camera that doesn't look like it was borrowed from an old flip phone. But what are the impressive features? The digital rear view mirror. It's like literally having eyes in the back of your head. Now, the Corvette's interior. Well, it's kind of like using an old iPhone 4 in 2024. There's no parking sensors, and in a car this low, that's literally trying to parallel park blindfolded. The infotainment system takes so long to respond that you can make a sandwich while waiting for the radio station to change. The backup camera looks like someone poured Vaseline on the lens and forgot about blind spot monitoring in a car where blind spots are bigger than Texas. Let's talk about something that car reviews usually attract over, which is living with these cars. For any guy who's 6 feet tall, this gets personal. Here's the twist. The Camaro 1LE's Recaro seats are more comfortable than the Corvette's fancy chairs. Yeah, you heard that right. In the Corvette, it feels like you're a twister. Your arms will keep hitting the center console, and your knee will be having an ongoing fight with the AC controls. And after 2 long hours of driving, your back will feel like it never has. The Camaro, it's like someone thought about real people using this car every day. There's space to move around. The seats feel great and comfortable even after hours of driving. And the ride quality? This is where it gets really fascinating. Both cars have something called magnetic ride control, which are fancy shocks that adjust to the road. But in the Corvette, it's like those shocks are just for mere show. Every tiny bump feels like you're riding a pogo stick. The Camaro somehow manages to feel sporty, but still a little more comfortable, like a good pair of running shoes. Now, remember that first question about Corvette owners switching to Camaros? But here's the next twist. The C7 Corvette has some problems that nobody talks about until after you've bought one of them and find out your dream house has termites after you've moved in. First up comes the torque tube failures. It's a common issue that can leave you stuck and cost a fortune to fix it. Then there's the very strange wheel cracking issue on Grand Sport and Z06 models. Not exactly what you want to discover on a car that costs this much. But wait, there's more. If you get your hands on an automatic Corvette, you might experience a transmission shudder. And here's something very annoying. When you turn at low speeds, like maybe in a parking lot, the tires make this very creepy groaning noise. It sounds like your car's upset. Everyone around can hear it. Even working on the engine's a pain because it's so cramped under the hood, it changes spark plugs and feels like playing with boxing gloves on. But the Corvette must be way better than the other on the track, right? After all, it's 300 to 400 pounds lighter than the Camaro, so that's like taking 2 passengers out of the car, right? Well, hold on folks, because this might surprise you. On a racetrack, these cars are more like identical twins than distant cousins. The Camaro 1LE sticks to corners just as well as the Grand Sport. It's got massive tires too, which are 305s in the back compared to the Corvette's 335s. And get this, the Camaro actually sounds better from the factory. It's got that deep muscle car growl, plus all those fun pops and crackles that make you laugh like a kid. Here's something else that might surprise you. The communities around these cars are different. If it's a Camaro meet, you'll find teenagers to grandparents, all kinds of different people united by their love of these cars. There are probably 10 completely different companies making the part you want. Performance shops love working on these cars. There's always some kind of meet or event happening. The Corvette crowd? It's a different world. Nothing wrong with it, but it's more of a, let's say, traditional. Most owners keep their cars pretty much stock. There aren't as many aftermarket parts available, and the atmosphere at meets is more like a country club than a block party. Both are cool in their own way, but they're definitely different scenes. So which car wins this battle? For that, let's discuss some cool features for a minute. The Corvette has its smart oil system that keeps the engine happy even when you're pulling serious G-forces in corners. Think of it like having a backup oil tank that makes sure your engine always has enough oil, no matter how hard and long you're driving. It holds up to 10 quarts of oil, while the Camaro has 8 quarts in a simpler system. But the Camaro fights back with its own impressive engineering. It's got extra coolers for the engine oil, transmission, and differential, just like having 3 separate air conditioners keeping everything cool. The hood even has this special vent that lets hot air get out from the engine bay. It might sound simple, but it moves quite a huge amount of air. The brakes tell another interesting story. Both cars use top-notch Brembo brakes, but the Camaros actually have a bit bigger up front. And here's a cool fact, the Camaro can stop from 60 miles per hour in just 107 feet, while the Corvette needs 109 feet. That's like the difference between stopping in your driveway or maybe in your garage. The Camaro also has newer brake pads that work better when they're cold and don't really get tired as quickly when you're pushing the car hard. Well, the Corvette still has some clear advantages over the other, and it's also lighter. You can take the roof off for some sun, and there's that whole American sports car icon thing going for it. Some parts are quite cheap to replace, and let's be honest, telling someone you drive a Corvette still has a special ring to it. But what about the Camaro? It's like the straight-A student. You get modern technology that actually works, a comfortable interior you can live with daily, similar performance numbers, and hey, it costs less and comes with a warranty if you buy something new. Plus, you get a bigger, more active community and way more options to make the car your very own. Remember those questions we started with about Corvette owners switching to Camaros and paying more for less? Now it all makes sense, right? The Camaro 1LE isn't just keeping up with the Corvette in many ways, but it's actually the smarter choice. It's not that the Corvette is a bad car, but it's still impressive at what it does. But as an all-around package, especially if you're going to drive it every single day, then Camaro proves that sometimes the student becomes the master. The Corvette is like that veteran athlete who still has amazing skills but is starting to show his age. Though still impressive, still capable, but maybe not as well-rounded as they used to be. The Camaro, it's like the young champion who studied the veterans' moves, learned from them, and then added some fresh tricks to create something even better. So, what's your view on this American Showdown? Are you Team Corvette or Team Camaro? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video, and please make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss our next episode in the Muscle Car Vault.